Hey y'all, we are going to do a pecan cream pie today. It is from Pinterest and I will link the recipe down below. So let's get going on this. I have a pie crust in the refrigerator. I don't have a pre-made pie crust in like a aluminum pan. So we're gonna put this pie crust in this dish and go ahead and pre-bake it. Okay, we're gonna prick holes with a fork in the pie crust so it just doesn't bubble up from the bottom. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but got some holes in there. Our oven is still preheating. We're going to be baking this for 10 to 12 minutes until light brown, and then we are going to totally cool it before we put our filling in. Okay, so we're going to mix a cup of heavy whipping cream and a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. I have my whisk attachment on my mixer, and we are going to mix that for several minutes until stiff peaks form, and I'll show you what those look like when we get finished. I'll go ahead and add my powdered sugar. This is the 1/4 cup. Okay, so 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, and then because I need a cup of heavy cream, we're going to add 4 1/4 cups. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to get that to mixing until we get stiff peaks. Okay, y'all, we have stiff peaks. Let me get this, out of the way, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so see down in there. All right. Hope that didn't make y'all nauseous. Now, the only thing about this recipe is you have to mix and mess up a lot of bowls. So I'm not overly thrilled with that. But I'm going to take this because I can't find my other mixing bowl. I'm going to take this out so I can mix my cream cheese mixture in here. Okay, so now we're going to take our 2 blocks of cream cheese. We got 1/2 cup of light brown sugar, 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and we are going to mix that together. Then we will fold in our whipped cream and finely chopped pecans. So let me mix this together and we'll be right back. It never fails, I make a mess when I open up cream cheese. We're going to get these 2 blocks in here, and then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. Okay. So in goes a 1/4 cup of maple syrup, and a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar, and this is pretty packed in here. Okay, going to take our attachment, put it back on, lock everything down, and we're going to mix this until it is creamy. Okay, we have everything nice and creamy. So we're going to fold in our whipped cream. Got to get all that good stuff off. Okay. Let me see if I can bring you closer so you can watch this. Okay, maybe you can see this. It's a little shadowy, but it's a light brown because of the brown sugar. But we're going to fold in our whipped cream. Okay, and we're just going to fold this in. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're going to add our 1.5 cups of chopped pecans and stir those in as well. Okay, great. We're going to check our pie crust, see if it's ready and nice and cooled before we pour our mixture in. Okay, here's our pie crust. It shrank a little bit. I cut a little too much off, but that's okay. We are going to fill the pie crust with our mixture. We're going to pop it into the refrigerator and let it firm up. It says to cover and let sit in the refrigerator for 8 hours or overnight before serving. I don't know that we're going to make that time frame, but let's get into the pie crust. Let me see if I can do this so y'all can see. And of course, I was supposed to reserve a few pecans to garnish on the top. Not a big deal. I have extra, so I can do that if I choose to. We love pecans in our family, so I think the whole 1.5 cups in here is fine. Okay, let's see if we can get it all down in our pie crust. Just may have to be a tall pie. Looks delicious. Excited to try this. I'm doing this. Today is our daughter Hillary's birthday. And I usually do her an Italian cream cheese cake. And we usually get together and eat and everything. But our grandson Grayson was diagnosed with the flu today. So she's going to get a pie now. And my mother's was last Monday. So this is kind of for both of them. but we're gonna drop this at their house. So pretty. Cream pecan pie. Very easy. So we're gonna stick this in the fridge, let it cool. I'll deliver it to their house this afternoon. We'll see you later. Hey y'all, it's Brenda. We are gonna cook supper tonight together. We're gonna try a new recipe. It is Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes. I found this recipe on Pinterest. It was kind of funny because when Clarence asked me today what we were having for supper and I told him, he was like, oh, you finally watched what I sent you. He had either sent me a YouTube video or a TikTok with this recipe. So that just goes to show you, if you're married long enough, you kind of start thinking the same things. So we're going to get started on this. It seems like a really easy recipe. Hopefully it's going to be very, very tasty. Again, the recipe is from Pinterest. I will link it down below. Let's get started cooking. All right, y'all, I think I have everything laid out. I have my recipe back here on my Kindle. So hopefully we will stay on top of everything. I have my ingredients hopefully all laid out. Let's get this going. All right, I'm working with a pound of ground venison, and probably before this is all over with, I will say hamburger meat. It's just easier. This is the South, and anything ground is usually hamburger meat. It's kind of like a Coke. People around here say, you want a Coke? Yeah. And they'll ask you what kind you want. So this is a pound of ground venison. We're going to get this browning with 1 chopped onion. So that is Sophie. Duke, stop aggravating. I'm going to edit you. If we can only just make them quiet in real life. Let's get this going. Now I kind of got this going. This little chopper is so worth its money. It really breaks down ground meat very well. I actually got this one at Dollar General. I do know Pampered Chef sells a very, very nice one. This one was about $5. And I had 2, but Hillary decided she wanted 1. So, you know, nothing like shopping at Mama's house. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. So, gonna continue working this ground beef. Just gonna finish browning this up. And we will go ahead. There's very little fat. We get our deer processed with no fat. So it's very lean already. And what little bit is in the pan, I know it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a little bit in the pan, and by the time this gets finished browning, that will have all evaporated just about. But if there's any left, we'll go ahead and drain this. But we're going to go ahead and finish browning this, getting our onion softened. Everything's coming together so far. This recipe calls for green peppers, but I'm not a fan. So, I'll leave those out. I think we've about got it here. The meat is done. The liquid is pretty much gone. I don't even think we're going to drain it. I have added salt. That is the only thing I have added to this so far. Okay. So this is 1 tablespoon of, it is supposed to be cornstarch, but I do not have, I have cornstarch somewhere. I cannot find it. So this is all-purpose flour, just as good as cornstarch. And all this is going to do is kind of help thicken everything up. Get everything coated in the flour. Now Clarence has decided tonight he wants onion rings to go with this, which is fine. And we're not going to do anything homemade tonight on that front. We are doing a bag of onion rings, and I'll be putting those in the oven in just a minute. Jake, stop grumbling. I'm going to edit you. If you're wondering, yes, we have several dogs. That is our mouthy one. And he's aggravating his brother. Go figure. Okay, we're going to add a cup of beef broth. I am using just the Great Value beef broth. And I have some still left in the can, so if this kind of starts to get thick, I can always add to this. So that was a cup of beef broth. This is a 1/4 cup of A1, which is my absolute all-time favorite steak seasoning or steak sauce. Clarence prefers 57, Heinz 57, but to each his own. And this is a teaspoon of steak seasoning. Just whatever you have on hand. This was a steak and chop seasoning, so I figured we couldn't go wrong. It's smelling good. Okay. Let's see. Once boiling, reduce heat to medium, low. Let simmer while stirring occasionally for 10 minutes. Mixture should thicken. Alright. So we're just going to we're going to turn this down to a medium-low. Let this simmer for a little bit, and I'm going to get the onion rings in my preheated oven of 400 degrees. Okay, we are doing Red Robin onion rings. We're going to put them in a 400 degree oven for 17 to 20 minutes. We'll check back then. Okay, this is still cooking, but we're going to go ahead and butter our hamburger buns. I have just seeded hamburger buns. Got a little bit of butter on there, and I'll pop them into the oven for just a little bit, get them nice and toasted, and let me look in the refrigerator and see what kind of cheese I have. We're in luck. I have some sliced provolone. That is exactly what the recipe calls for. So we're going to get all of this put together, the butter on our buns, get them toasted. Our meat mixture is doing nicely. Let me see if I can turn you down without sending you for a ride. Hold on. As the Busy Bee says, don't spill your tea. Figure out which way I need to go in a second. I may fog up the camera. So, yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but this is thickening up nicely. Usually when we do Sloppy Joes, you know, they're a tomato-based mix. So I'm kind of excited about trying this variation. let me get our hamburger buns buttered and toasted. Our onion rings are in the oven for another 14 minutes. And when we come back, I'll let you see how everything turned out. Okay, y'all, supper is finished. Finished loading the dishwasher, but that is something we are definitely gonna add to the rotation. It is fabulous. The recipe will be linked below. Y'all try it. Hope you enjoy it. The onion rings were surprisingly good as well. They were nice and crispy. Yeah, so very good supper tonight. Gonna load the dishwasher and relax for a little bit. Y'all have a good night.